The movie begins with Gerard, a car mechanic who owns his garage in Rotterdam. He spends his days working with his friends Kees, Nico, and Leo, who help with the daily tasks of running the garage. However, most of the time, they're more focused on telling tall stories, making jokes, and playing cards than actually fixing cars. Only Yusuf, the other mechanic, seems serious about repairing vehicles. Despite their outward fun and camaraderie, each of the four friends has their struggles. Nico is secretly attracted to men, but is too afraid to admit it, even to himself. Leo is ignoring the fact that his girlfriend Anita is still working as a prostitute, even though he knows deep down what's going on. Kees is overwhelmed by the strict rules his deeply religious wife, Jolanda, places on him at home, and he's burdened by the pressure of trying to meet her expectations. Everything changes for Gerard when he visits the hospital. There, he's told that he has terminal esophageal cancer and less than a year to live. Rather than share this devastating news, Gerard decides to keep it to himself. He doesn't tell his wife, Lenny, or his troubled teenage son, Harry. Instead, he keeps the secret locked inside, continuing with his life and his work, unsure of how to face his future or the impact his illness will have on the people he loves. One morning, while Nico is searching for coffee creamer in the garage, he accidentally comes across a pile of bills. To his shock, he discovers that Gerard, the owner of the garage, owes a huge amount, 40,000 euros in tax debt. If Gerard doesn't pay it off soon, he will lose the garage and the men will lose their jobs. Nico is worried and immediately tells the rest of the team about the debt. They all agree that they need to come up with a plan to save the garage and their jobs. As they sit together, trying to figure out what to do, Yusuf accidentally gives them an idea. He mentions that he used to run marathons and raise thousands of euros in sponsorship for his runs. This sparks an idea in the men's minds. Maybe they could run in the Rotterdam Marathon and collect sponsorships to raise the money needed to pay off the debt and save the garage. However, the idea comes with its challenges. First of all, none of them are in shape for running a marathon. Leo has a weakness for beer, Kees can't stop smoking, and Gerard loves eating cake. Right now, they can barely get by without their bad habits. They need to get fit, but it's going to take a lot of work. On top of that, the local shopkeepers are not enthusiastic about sponsoring the four men. They don't think the men will be able to run the marathon or raise enough money, but the group doesn't give up. They convince Yusuf to help them arrange a meeting with his uncle, Hussein, who had sponsored Yusuf for his marathon in the past. At first, Hussein is not interested in helping them. He says he is only willing to spend 500 euros on their marathon attempt, but Gerard is not ready to give up. He makes a deal with Hussein. If all four mechanics finish the marathon, Hussein will pay off Gerard's 40,000 euro tax debt. However, if they fail to complete the marathon, Hussein will take over Gerard's garage. With the deal in place, the men are now under a lot of pressure. They must train hard, get in shape, and make it through the marathon, or they will lose the garage for good. The challenge is tough, but they are determined to save their business and prove to themselves and others that they can finish what they started. As the race approaches, the men face their struggles and work together, hoping they can overcome their weaknesses and run the marathon to the finish line. Yusuf is appointed as the trainer for the group, but things quickly get tough. The men are out of shape, have poor attitudes, and struggle to give up their unhealthy habits. They can't stay away from alcohol, cigarettes, and cakes, and they often miss training sessions. This lack of commitment frustrates Yusuf, and he starts to feel like quitting. He can't understand why the men aren't taking this seriously. Their lack of effort is holding them back, and Yusuf is growing tired of trying to motivate them. One day, when things are at their breaking point, Gerard pulls Yusuf aside for a private conversation. Gerard shares something personal with Yusuf. He's been diagnosed with terminal cancer and doesn't have long to live. Gerard explains that keeping the garage is his last wish. He wants to leave something behind for his family and friends, and this marathon is his chance to do that. Gerard doesn't want to give up, even though running a marathon with cancer seems impossible. Yusuf tries to argue, telling Gerard that running with cancer is madness, but Gerard refuses to listen. He insists that this is his only opportunity to achieve something important in his life before it's too late. Gerard's determination and the weight of his situation finally convince Yusuf to keep going as the trainer. Despite the challenges, Gerard's desire to make a difference before he dies becomes the driving force behind the team, pushing them to keep going even when everything seems against them. Yusuf finally manages to get through to the men. With a mix of harsh words and a talk about the consequences of failure, he convinces them to start training properly. They stop drinking alcohol, smoking, and eating cakes. It's a big change for all of them, but they know that if they want to finish the marathon and save the garage, they have to give it their best shot. Slowly, they start to train harder and stick to the plan. As the days pass, they work on their fitness. They're still not in perfect shape, but they're trying. They train together, pushing each other to keep going. The marathon is getting closer, and each day, they feel more ready. The day of the Rotterdam Marathon finally arrives. The four friends are nervous but excited. They know they have a real chance of finishing it now. On race day, Nico, Keys, and Leo are the first to cross the finish line. They're exhausted, but proud of what they've done. It's a big accomplishment for them. Even though it's Sunday, which Keys' wife Jolanda considers God's day, she's there on the sidelines, cheering him on. It's a big moment for them all. They've trained hard, and now they're getting the results they hoped for. However, Gerard is struggling to keep up. He's had a hard time throughout the marathon, and his health is starting to show. Just 300 meters from the finish line, Gerard suddenly collapses. Despite his determination, his body can't take it anymore. He dies before he can reach the end of the race. The doctors at the hospital can't save him. They find out that he had terminal esophageal cancer, which he had kept secret from everyone. Yusuf reveals that he had known about Gerard's cancer the whole time. Gerard had kept it to himself, not wanting anyone to know. But what Yusuf does reveal is that finishing the marathon to save the garage was Gerard's final wish. Gerard wanted to make sure that his friends would have a future, that they wouldn't lose the garage, and that they would be okay after he was gone. His dream was to finish the marathon and save everything they had worked for. Though the men are devastated by Gerard's death, they want to honor his last wish. They decide to do something bold. They secretly take Gerard's body out of the hospital and take it to the marathon course. They push his body in a wheelchair, carrying him the last 300 meters of the marathon. It's a difficult thing to do, but they want to make sure Gerard finishes the race, even if he couldn't do it himself. They reach the finish line, and the marathon organizers give Gerard a posthumous medal for his effort. His achievement is recognized, and the men are proud to have helped him finish what he had started. Even though Gerard is no longer alive, his spirit is there, finishing the race that meant so much to him. The men walk away from the marathon, proud of their friend, and knowing that they've honored his final wish. Afterward, Gerard's urn is displayed. It's a symbol of his determination, his love for his friends, and the bond they shared. Gerard may not have lived to see the end of the race, but in the end, he completed it. And that's what mattered. The men go on with their lives, but they'll always remember Gerard, the man who ran the race for them all. His legacy lives on in their hearts and the garage they saved together. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you never miss out on our latest content.